Hello and welcome to AWS Certified Solution Architect course. In this video, we will configure auto scaling group, and this video is in continuation with a previous video that was for launch configuration. In previous video, we have configured launch configuration, and we will continue that by configuring auto scaling group. So I will name this auto scaling group as test auto scaling AS. The group size will be, I will give it as two instances because auto scaling is for fault tolerance. So at least we should have a spare instance to take over the load if the current instance goes down. And network, we will be having the default VPC subnets. Now we can select single subnet or two subnets, but the benefit with two subnet is like it will span the EC2 instances in two availability zones that is highly required for fault tolerant environment. Suppose if one availability zone goes down, the other availability zone should be ready to take over the load of the other one. So we will include both the subnets which are present in two availability zones, AP Southeast South 1A and AP Southeast 1B. Apart from that, let's see the advanced details. We can we can include load balancer as well. So let me check this receive traffic from one or more load balancers. I have one load balancer that we configured in the previous videos. Load balancer name is web ELB, and currently there are no instances registered to this availability this elastic load balancer. So I will include this classic load balancer. We don't need target groups because target groups are used with application load balancer. Health check grace period. So every 5 minutes the server will auto scaling group and ELB will check the health of instances, whether they are ready to take load or not. So if they are not, it will remove it from ELB and it will launch a new instance to cope its usage. Now instance protection, it's not protect from scaling, it's not required because we want the servers to scale up if needed. And so this is all about the first window of creating auto scaling group. Now let's go to create the scaling policies. Keep this group at its initial size. That is not need and that is not recommended because auto scaling is to cope up with the requirement. So we will select this scaling policies to adjust the capacity of the group. So we can just give some parameters to scale between 1 to 3 instances, and we can create some alarms to increase group size or decrease group size. So let's create one alarm here for increasing the group size. We don't want notification right now, and the condition of the alarm should be when the average CPU utilization is greater than equal to, for this demo I will use 10% because we will not be reaching 100% or 80%. So I'll keep it as 10% so that we can get a good demo for at least one consecutive period of maybe 1 minute. This is also for demo, but for a production environment we can keep it like 80% or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So we will create the alarm now. So when this happens, then the CPU utilization is greater than 10%. What it should do, it will add one instance to the fleet of instances. There is one more thing, instances need 300 seconds to warm up after each step. So there may be some chances that one of the instances may go down and new instances need to launch up, but the new instance will take at least 300 seconds to warm up and prepare itself to take the load. So this is why we are keeping it this warm up time for the new instances. Now the new alarm we need to create is for decreasing group size. So I will create alarm. We don't need notification right now. However, you can, if you want, you can create a notification for your reference. When the average stipulation is less than equal to maybe 2% for at least one consecutive period of 1 minute, we'll create this alarm. Remove one instance from the fleet. So this is how we have created the increase group size and decrease group size rules. Now let's configure notifications. We don't need notification. However, you can, right now we don't need for demo. However, you can create a topic and give your email address for creating a notification, for getting notification. Now configure tags. So I will just configure tab naming auto scaling, and again I will review it. So this is done. Now let's create the auto scaling group. Auto scaling group has been created. Now let's go and see the auto scaling group status. So if you see, there are two instances that has been launched because there were no instances currently, so it has launched two instances as per the rules configured. Now let's go and see on the instances windows if these instances has been launched or not. Yes, as you can see here, there are two instances which are initializing. That means our auto scaling group is working fine. Let's wait for these instances to be initialized fully. We'll come again in some time. One more interesting thing to notice is these two instances has been added to load balancer. Since we have added load balancer to auto scaling group, so that is why these two instances has been added here as well, and currently they are showing out of service, but once the instances will pass all the tests, they will be showing in service in load balancer. This is the health check we configured. Still the instances are initializing, so let's wait for some more time till these instances are launched properly. So as you can see here, if we terminate the one of the instances, actually this instance got terminated itself. Let's check the activity history. So it's telling it got terminated due to this alarm. Decrease group size policy was applied, so maybe the CPU utilization was less than 2, that is why it terminated the instance, and now we have only one instance in service. Now let's wait for some activity, or we can just, so that means the auto scaling group is working pretty cool. It's working, the policies are applying correctly. Let's do one thing. We will just stop this instance as well, and let's see if it's scaling one instance or not. So I'll just stop it. So the instance is getting stopped. Let's see what is the action auto scaling group is taking. It should launch a new instance. I will keep a look on activity history. So this instance is stopping. It will take some time for pooling to check the health of this auto scaling group, auto scaling instances. So the policy, so if you see here, it's terminating an instance, and after that it should launch one more instance. So see, it is launching a new instance to replace the one that was terminated. So it's currently telling that it's not in service, but it will be launched in some time to cope up with the capacity. So this is how the auto scaling group will work. As as we discussed in this video, we need to create a launch configuration that will define the type of EMI that will be launched, and auto scaling group will define what are the situations in which we want to scale up and scale down. So thank you for listening. Have a great day.